The amount of proteins people have today is the exact reason why you see amongst the young people and globally everywhere kidney failures, issues with regards to blood, issues with regards to liver. In the 70s, there was a movement which said, stop ghee, ghee is very bad for you, ghee causes cholesterol. It's just the other way around. Actually, I don't know, you're going to get me killed when I say but statins is the biggest fraud and so is cholesterol. Excessive statins cause dementia and Alzheimer's. It's the chemicals in the food that is the problem today. Not carbs. Carbs is not the... If you cannot digest carbs, today if you see in the West, every wheat crop actually has glyphosate in it, which is Monsanto's fertilizer.
There's a whole movement not to have milk anymore.
Oh, that's rubbish.
If what you just heard shocked you, it shocked me too. Because even I fell for the protein marketing hype. I was buying powders and bars thinking I was doing good for my health. Until I met Siddhartha Sengupta and did my research. Guess what? There's hardly any long-term clinical trial studies for protein supplements. And that shocked me. Yet the protein market is worth $28 billion today and set to double by 2032. So how did it get so big? We also talk about statins and cholesterol, and our mainstream healthcare might have got it a bit wrong. Join me, Karnveer Munde, the founder of Atharva Marcom, and I talk to Siddhartha Sengupta, the founder of Samskrt, who has already treated over 10,000 patients, some of them for critical chronic diseases like cancer, hypertension, and diabetes. He even has AIM Delhi acknowledging his success with a certified letter. Watch it till the end to get some exciting ideas about your health. And remember, Samskrt is giving discounts to people who are subscribers of this channel. So don't forget to subscribe and click the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you don't miss another episode again. This is mRNA and VAT.
So the milk is a virator. So it basically gets all the VAT which is inside, the VAT has traveled right into your system. Okay? Right from your bones, it is inside your muscle, it's inside your bone, it's inside your bone marrows. So what the milk does, it gets all this VAT from inside you and pushes it into your gut. And when it does so, you feel you're bloated. Okay, now the job of a good cow's milk is to do that. And so you're not bloated. When you keep drinking that, all this VAT keeps coming, and for 6 months you keep drinking. After a point, there will be a point in time where your bloating will stop.
Wow, that's very radical considering everyone tells you there's a whole movement not to have milk anymore.
Oh, that's rubbish. Milk is the superfood. Although I say there is nothing called superfood, but at the same time, milk is the superfood because number one, we as a country are a vegetarian country. I mean, we eat vegetarian food, and doodh, ghee, makhan, milk, butter, and ghee.
These are the clarified butter.
Yes, clarified butter. These are the three things that we should never eat. In the 70s, there was a movement which said, stop ghee, ghee is very bad for you, ghee causes cholesterol. It's just the other way around.
Cholesterol is another fraud.
Cholesterol.
And statins.
Yes, absolutely. We actually, I don't know, you're going to get me killed when I say but statins is the biggest fraud and so is cholesterol, because statins are the medicines which actually cause, excessive statins cause dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, and cholesterol is something which our body needs to be able to, it's the vitamin D deficiency that you see today in human beings all over the world, in spite of the fact that we have a 330 days of sun in this country, is strange, because vitamin D is a hormone. It's not actually a vitamin. And the processing of vitamin D is done by cholesterol. So you need cholesterol in our blood. You need it to, for us to function normally. And our brain is nothing but fat and cholesterol. So when you give statins, it starts to deplete the brain cholesterol as well as your brain tissues. And that is the reason why statins we in fact tell all our customers or patients that if you are on statins, just leave it right away and then come to us, because that's not anything which you should burn.
So that's quite radical in a lot of ways. Like, so have milk.
Yes.
What about, this, now you say even carbs are good.
Yes.
And there's a whole movement around the world saying carbs are the worst thing possible, and zero carb, and have protein powders.
That's another. The amount of proteins people have today is the exact reason why you see amongst the young people and globally everywhere kidney failures, issues with regards to blood, issues with regards to liver. Now, there is only up to a certain amount of protein that a body can actually consume or digest. It is not what you eat what is important. What you can digest is what is important, right? You can have like 4 badam or 4 almonds every day, but if your body is not digesting that almonds, it's worthless. It's going out in the pan. Similarly, even the protein that used to be possibly consumed by a human was much lower than what you find in the internet today. Again, that's been changed. The internet is something which anyone can, make. You can put anything you want over there. So, protein is necessary, but only to a certain extent. In fact, we were also told initially fat is not good, but today we know that unless you have fat, your food is not going to be metabolized. And carbs is the only thing that actually the cells live on carbs and sugar. Okay. Today, if you see people are talking about sugar in they say, oh, sugar is bad for you. We've eaten so much of sugar as kids, right? What happened to us? Nothing. We are not diabetic, or we didn't become obese because of that. So it's the chemicals in the food that is the problem today, not carbs. Carbs is not if you cannot digest carbs today. If you see in the West, every wheat crop actually has glyphosate in it, which is Monsanto's fertilizer, and that is causing the problem. Okay, it is not the carbs which is a problem. Now, if your body is not able to digest carbs, then there's something wrong in your metabolic pathway. The carbohydrate metabolic pathway, there's something wrong. Okay, so all you need to do is dechoke that carbohydrate metabolic pathway, and you're able to digest the carbs. So without carbs, if you eat your food, anything that you eat is not going to be digested properly. Carbs is something, that's why we have combinations. And this combination in traditional food, whether it's Indian food, whether it's Chinese food, whether it's European food, they were all in combinations. They all had either bread with it or rice with it, and they had some soup or some veggies and something along with it. Okay, it was never just eating veggies or never just eating dal or a soup just by yourself, just by itself. Why? Because carbs help the body to absorb the food, that the rest of the food, that is the soup or the veggies, will be absorbed better, because the cells can immediately absorb the nutrition because of the carbs and the fat.
How should you choose like healthy, like how do you know that curd or that whatever, that milk is good? And
Right, very good question. I think especially today, if you see, most of the kids have stopped drinking milk. One, I drink around half a liter of milk a day. Two, you have to find a goshala, or hamare time mein we used to have those gwalas who used to come with their milk cans. Someone who loves their cows, someone who gives grass-fed cows. So you have to find this A2 cow's milk, and that's there in every city, whether it's Bangalore, whether it's Delhi, whether it's Mumbai or Calcutta. Everywhere you have people who are very passionate about their cows, who love their cows, and there are more than 5,000 goshalas today in India where they keep A2 cows, Gir cows or Desi gai, and they are not injected with hormones, and they are perfectly okay and healthy. So you can go and check these kinds of goshalas and take their milk. Like for example, my milk comes from Nasik area, which is actually Igatpuri. There's a place here, and I think they leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I get the milk delivered by 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. And that milk is, how we used to drink that milk, which so much of cream on top and yellow, typical cow's milk with that smell we had, which is not there in these packaged milk anymore. Yeah. So anything which is packed, I always tell this to my kids or our patients, that anything which is packed, anything needs preservative. So when you have a preservative in that food, that's chemicals. So if someone wants to if someone says that, okay, these cows have been injected with hormones, etc., so we are not going to drink that, but then you are eating wafers which are, pumped and filled with your chemicals, right? So that's equally bad. So I would suggest do some research about the food that you eat, because Ayurveda clearly says use your food as medicines. One, this is about milk. Now when it comes to rice or wheat, I always tell people that if you want to eat, wheat was only, I think, 5,000 years ago. Before that, all over the world, we used to have something called as jaw or barley. So you can certainly have barley. Barley is not, there's not too much of Monsanto glyphosate used in it. So barley is still very clean. You can have barley, but make sure that you always have it with ghee. Okay, barley should never be had just like that. When you are making a chapati or bread out of it, you should always have ghee or butter with it. You can certainly have rice, which is, my rice comes from South India. It's called Nawara rice, and I have researched it and found out that, a guy who makes organic rice, he sends me 3,000, 4,000 rupees worth of rice every 6 months or so. And I always store, 10 kilos of rice at my home, which is organic rice, which is unpolished. So you have to do that kind of research when you want good food. You can't just go to market and just say, this says it's good, so I'm going to take it. No, everyone has a marketing strategy, right? You have to be able to see through these marketing strategies. You have to find clean food today, and you have to make that effort to find clean food. For example, today, Karanveer, when I go to any kind of supermarket, I look at all the shelves and I say, this is not even food. This is not even food.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to pick and choose what's good for you. Yeah. You were also asking about yogurt. Now, Ayurveda says yogurt is not good for you. It causes abhishandi, it causes blockages of channels, it causes tumors. Now, yogurt is good only in dry and cold or dry and hot places like Punjab or Haryana or Kashmir, and these places can have a little bit of, if you roam in Punjab, they have kachi lassi or they have lassi. Okay. Now, lassi is okay. Kachi lassi is even better. Okay, because it's diluted. Okay, similarly down south, if you see, they have curd rice, but if you see their traditional curd rice, it is with chalk in it. The moment you put chalk in it, it breaks the stickiness of curd. Okay, so curd per se is not good, but chas, lassi, great, and curd rice with the chalk in it, perfect, or with the achar in it, with sugar. Moment you put sugar in curd, it breaks the chemistry. I mean, the chemistry changes basically. So that's where our traditional
sugar in
foods,
curd is good.
yes, sugar breaks the chemistry of the stickiness of the curd, and that's why lassi was sweet. Yeah. So up north, so that and it's dry and cold, right? So in kachi lassi was given by the grandmoms to their grandchildren. Why? Because there's a little bit of milk in it, little bit of curd in it, and sugar, and it tastes great early mornings. That gives you a lot of energy, and that sustains you until lunchtime or maybe much more. Now, that is, it's when you dilute the curd, it does not, otherwise if you see curd, if you take normal curd, you just check it's sticky. Okay. Now that stickiness actually goes inside your stomach and causes blockages in the channels of your body, causing choking of metabolic pathways. Yeah. So a lot of people say curd is good, I want to avoid milk and I have curd, or I want to, no, that's not right. Milk is the superfood. I would suggest anyone to always, and that's why, our Krishna epitomized milk and makhan. Okay, why butter and milk is so good? Because it improves your sattva, improves your ojas, improves your vitality, and the more milk you have, the more and you can digest, and the more butter, that is white unsalted butter, if you can make it at home, if you can have that, there's nothing better which can improve your ojas, your fertility, your improving your vitality, improving your immune system. There's nothing better. And milk should only be had hot, never cold, by the way.
So coming back to, you've treated some life-threatening diseases.
Yes.
Uh, what is the protocol in that? Like a person should, suppose he gets diagnosed, at what stage can he be treated and how many months? Tell us about some case studies that you have handled and,
Right.
you know.
So we treat all kinds of chronic diseases, whether it's Parkinson, whether it's cancer, whether it's heart disease, mental health issues, infertility, everything. But we are experts in cancer. When we say we are experts in cancer, first thing is we've understood cancer very well. We have 5 Vaidyas in our team, out of which 2 of them are experts in cancer. And I just told you, Karanveer, that Ayurveda believes that cancer is a metabolic disease. And I think now even, allopathy is calling it a metabolic disease. They started calling it a metabolic disease because epigenetics is something they are being introduced to. Yeah, we call it epigenetics, but Ayurveda has called it something else. Like gravity. Gravity has been we think gravity has been invented by Newton, but Gurutwakarshan was invented in India 10,000 years before that. So it doesn't mean that it's similarly epigenetics may have been discovered right now, but Ayurveda talks about this whole concept 10,000 years ago. So when we talk about Vata, Pitta, Kapha, which I think you asked me and I didn't answer that. So when we talk about Vata, Pitta and Kapha, now these 3 people, a lot of people have a misunderstanding or do not understand the meaning of this. So I would just simplify it rather than getting too much into the technicalities of it. So there are actually 3 RNAs. Now when we talk about RNAs, every cell, every human cell in our body, there are more than 200 types of cells. Okay. Now every cell in our body has a DNA in it. Yeah, the DNA is normally 2 meters. 2 meters long. Now if you see a cell, you can't see it with your naked eye. So you can imagine how much wound up it's inside. Now this DNA actually transcribes or transcripts into an RNA or becomes an RNA, and then that RNA actually gives information to the cell on what to do. Like a liver cell should know how to produce blood in a certain way, should know how to detox itself, should know how to be able to digest the food, all of that, right? Now all these informations are given by the DNA through the RNA. Now there are 3 types of RNA: mRNA, tRNA and rRNA. Okay. Actually, there are 5. There is a pre-RNA, which is pre-RNA, which is hRNA and sRNA, which are also precursors of the mRNA. Now, mRNA is Vata, tRNA is Pitta, and rRNA is Kapha. When we say these RNAs give information to your cells, now mRNA is something it's all about movement. Like when it is about beating of your heart, movement of your blood through your body. Okay, your nervous system, that is the it's telling you, like suppose you get a cut here, it reaches your brain. So all this is being done by the mRNA. Okay, that's the function of the mRNA. Now tRNA is nothing but Pitta, which is which when it talks to the cell, it tells the cell that okay, this is the function that you're supposed to be doing, and you digest this and then move this to a certain area of the body. Okay, and rRNA is nothing but Kapha, which is making of your, like from a cell to a tissue or to an organ. Okay, now to understand all of this, you need to understand the whole concept of our body, which is how does food get converted into a human being. Okay, when we eat our food, it has to be digested, and that food, it has to be broken down, okay, and digested. Now that is called as Jaఠaragni, okay, which is digestion, which is taking place in your stomach. Now we think digestion as only this. No, it's not that. Okay, that is just the beginning. Okay, now when that happens, the next stage is Bhutagni, which is the cellular digestion. Okay, now this food is then converted into cells and tissues. ठीक है ना? Now that is all being done by this mRNA, rRNA and tRNA. This whole process, because continuously messaging goes on in the body. Okay, now you have taken the food, digest the food, move this food to this area. All these information, our body is an intelligent thing. So it's constantly, this movement is taking place. Now next, when you have your cells and tissues forming, the next stage is this tissue and cell, they form clusters and form an organ. ठीक है ना? And there are around 70 organs or 75 organs, and these organs then form an organism or a human being. You see, this is the whole process. Okay, I have told that in you very, very short because for you to understand. Now, if this whole process is not happening properly, yeah, which is in most of the cases today, then you are starting to get a disease, because you get, I told you before that it's not that 100% efficiency is there in every human being today. So it could be an 80%, it could be 70%, yeah, metabolism, and the rest of it is just toxins or poison.
Hi, my name is Margaret, and I'd like to take a minute and tell you about my experience with Siddhartha and Sanskrit. I guess, shortly speaking, bluntly speaking, Siddhartha gave my family and I hope when we had lost it. When we met, my husband and I had given up on Western medicine. We'd spent 2.5 years with our LA doctors trying to heal our son, who had suddenly started having catastrophic seizures at age 7. With 15 medications tried, several hospital stays, and 2,900 seizures, our exuberant, active son was reduced to the functional level of a 2-year-old. In desperation, my husband and I cast a wide net through our friends, and Siddhartha stepped forward to ask if we had tried Ayurvedic medicine. Thus began a conversation with Sanskrit that started our son towards a path of healing. With Siddhartha, I finally had a partner, someone who cared deeply and was willing to go into battle with me. He asked all sorts of questions no one had ever asked before, and he listened. He was consistently proactive, asking how treatment was going, asking if I understood the instructions, asking how Jacob was doing. He even reached out to the local doctors to develop a plan of care. He taught my family and I how to look at healing holistically, not just as pills or herbs that we put in our mouth, but to how to nourish our bodies from everything we consumed, from music to incense to oil to meditation. Everything became an opportunity to heal and support. Most importantly, it was only Siddhartha and his team that were able to diagnose my son as having a severe infestation of worms. To be clear, there is no definitive evidence that the worms caused the seizures. We suspect that he got the worms because he couldn't stop putting things in his mouth. But regardless, they became part of the problem. The lack of sleep and restlessness the worms caused exacerbated the seizure load and prevented any treatment from working. Once we got the worms cleared from his system, we finally had success controlling the seizures with a combination of Western medicine and continued Ayurvedic treatment. I highly recommend Siddhartha and his team. He doesn't know it yet, but I plan on visiting one day in Mumbai with my son Jacob. I can't wait to put my arms around the man that believed in me as a mom, and who so courageously offered the knowledge and expertise of Sanskrit to save my son. Thank you.
Like what you heard? Has it changed your life already? The final part 3 is coming soon. So don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon, because part 3 is getting even more exciting and with even more revealing insights that could change your life forever. Plus, subscribers get a special discount with Samskrt. So don't forget to click the button, and see you in part 3.